in deer pose. I'm going to bring the right leg forward, so I'm not actually mirroring you. Back leg, the feet can come in close, they can go out far. Just find yourself kind of situated. And I'm going to have my bolster nearby. And take the first couple of breaths just to settle in, to arrive, and to notice how this feels. I had a super interesting conversation this morning at a class. And they were talking about how this was the longest amount of darkness into the morning that we would have. So like the next time, daylight savings time is coming. So it's gonna feel pretty bright at 8, when it didn't feel bright at all at 8 today. And we started talking about how in all of nature, there's a moment of rest. Animals hibernate, they slow down, the leaves stop growing, they fall to the ground. Everything kind of curls in on itself as winter happens. Everybody, everything, except for humans. And we were commenting about how challenging it was for humans to slow down and to pause, to reflect in the pause. So I'd like to just kind of theme class with this idea that rest is not laziness, rather it's vital. It's vital for the rejuvenation, it's vital for the reflection. And then in the mind's eye, just say the word rest to yourself 3 times. And notice the body's reaction. Do you have a sense of sigh and relief? Do you have a sense where the lungs start breathing high up in the chest and the breath comes in rapid? Do the palms start sweating? Does the belly start to ache? And as we move in and out and explore longer lengths of stillness, keep coming back to this idea that all of nature has moments of quiet, moments of rest. Invite yourself to kind of sink in toward that rest. And then take the right hand down to the mat. Stretch the left arm out behind you and add a little side bend over to the right. And then come back up. We'll take that a few times. Maybe exhaling as we hinge over that right side of the body and inhaling as the next time you find yourself in that side bend, pause. Take the floating hand, that left hand, toward the right knee. Let it land. Press into the hands and just roll the ribs around the chest toward the mat. And then unravel and lift back up. We're going to use our bolster on the right side of the body. You might find a side bend where you just send the body over and rest the ribs over that, the right ribs over the bolster. You might come into a little twist, resting the chest on the bolster. One's not better than the other. Just tap in, maybe explore both. Try to figure out where the rest feels better in your body. And eventually just let it all go. Muscles soften. You might pay attention to the exhaling breath. You might even let go of the breath and just let it move through you as you settle in to its rest. Know that even though my voice is quiet, I'm here watching over you, holding space for you to reflect upon anything that arises. Is there anywhere in the body that you could let go of? It might be a softening of the jaw, a release through the throat. Spreading of the belly, the back. Begin to trace those 5 final rounds of breath. Their dear shape. Maybe drawing more breath in, letting those inhales expand. And then start to the fingertips toward the floor. Activate through the arms as you press into the hands. Lift up. Take a pause when you lift. Let the head kind of roll side to side like you're shaking no. You might move into some circles with the nose. If you took the circles, go in both directions. And then lean more onto the right hand. Release that left hand. Now just take both legs out nice and wide. Big dragonfly shape. Feel free to prop up the hips if that feels better. Take a few rounds of breath just here, noticing the sensations along the legs and hips. Well, add a forward fold. Maybe you bring along a block to rest on or a bolster. Not a right or a wrong way on how to position the prop. It's just there to provide some softness and support, bringing the floor towards you. And soften through the feet, the ankles. Soften along the low back. And I think of the leaves in the tree. If they change color, they start to curl in on themselves. Before they release the whole branch. Maybe you notice that here, this curling in, bodies mimicking nature. You notice what arises. You simply sit with it. Let go of the taking action, the doing part. You simply remain present. Knowing that in this moment, there is nothing that you have to do. There is nowhere that you have to be. Practice. Practice the rest. That concept, that idea of rest and reflection, embody every bit of you. In that space, will followed by final rounds of breath. Anticipating as that fifth breath escapes, hands come down. Press into the palms, activate through the muscles of the arms, lifting upright. Pausing at the top. Take a few shoulder rolls here, lifting the shoulders up, rolling them down the back. Go a little bit slower than you think you need to. Noticing how this movement affects the chest, the back, sides of the body, down the arms. You might even feel it in the jaw. And then shift the bolster or the prop over to the left side of the mat. Use your hands to support as we bend both knees in, coming into deer pose. This time the left leg is in front. The legs do not have to be in the same position as the other side. Take that left hand down to the mat. Reach the right arm up and overhead, side bend. Flow through about 5 in all. Always do more, you can always do less. And then eventually the floating hands comes down toward that left leg and just roll the chest to the left. Checking in and noticing how that feels. Choose the one that feels better for you, whether it's a side bend or a twist. Adjust your props, set them up comfortably for you. And then we'll lower back down to the props. Shifting and adjusting till we find that just right shape. Not too intense. Not too easy. choosing to welcome stillness, the quiet, the rest. Let the mind scan the body, noticing if there's anywhere you could let go, you could release that brain. You could allow the body cascade toward the thought softening. Maybe imagining those things were released. Which are the stresses, reactions that we no longer need. Beginning to trace 5 final rounds. And after the fifth breath escapes, palm, fingertips find the ground. Arms activate as we lift upright. Take a pause there. Become light on the right hand. Just kind of swing that right hand around. Legs are going to extend out in front as we root the bum on the mat. Setting up a little place for the spine to rest. You can use just a bolster, short edge of the bolster, parallel to the short edge of the mat. You can build it up and make it a little bit higher, 1 block, 2 blocks, whatever your body needs. And then once that little prop plank is built, just rest in this upright caterpillar shape. Let the mind scan the body, noticing how the ankles and the feet feel, the knee, and the hips. Notice any space that you might have created along the spine. Notice any space you might have created in between thoughts or pauses in between breaths. Feel free to linger here in this observation for as long as you want, as long as you desire. If you're ready to move, we'll think about bending the knees into a little supine butterfly. Soles of the feet together, knees open wide. Releasing the spine down to that prop plank. Again, taking time to shift and adjust, to add props, delete props. And eventually settling into the stillness, letting the arms land wherever they feel content. Inviting the eyelids to become heavy, bathing the eyes in a bit of darkness. Maybe noticing the openness across the chest. Perhaps imagining the light within you spreading out from that heart space. Just connecting breath. Tracing those final 5 rounds of breath as they move and shift throughout you. As the 5th breath escapes, add a little movement into the fingers, extending and bending. Perhaps you slide the hands around the sides of the legs, mindfully lifting the knees up. Go slower, slow, slow, slow. 6 minutes in that position can create some stress there along the inner legs. The slowness is to prevent any breakage. We'll stay on that little prop support beneath the spine. Let the knees sway side to side again, going slow. Noticing all the little sensations along the outer legs, front of the legs, the bum. Maybe noticing a small twist in the low back. One more of the swaying knee. And then meet with the knees to the sky. Heel toe the feet out toward the long edges of the mat. Legs nice and wide, feet nice and wide. Dip the knees in toward one another. A little constructive rest. Keep the legs just as they are. Start to draw the fingertips toward the shoulders. Maybe taking elbows out like that letter T shape. You can stay in stillness, or you can circle the elbows, draw circles in the sky with the elbows. They don't have to be very big. They don't have to be very small. Just a little bit of movement through the shoulders. And then eventually switching the direction of the circles. One more, that movement. And release the hands. Shift the awareness to the legs again, especially the outer leg, the outer portion of the leg, the outside of the thigh. I'm going to move into a little half saddle. I'm going to try to keep the plank behind my spine, that prop. Start to roll slightly to the right, doesn't have to be much. Then we're just going to scoot that left heel toward the bum. Can be a teeny tiny bit, can be a whole lot. Some people like the inner arch side of the foot, that big toe of the foot down toward the mat. Some people like to roll a little bit more and place the top of the foot toward the mat. What we're looking for here is a stretch through that outer left side of the leg and the thigh. When you find the perfect placement for you, you can roll back so that the bums or both bum cheeks are rooted. You can keep that right knee bent to the sky. You can take it out in front, lengthening it long. We won't be here for very long. Just kind of tap into that sensation. Notice the uncomfortability of that shape. And then maybe imagine this might feel way more comfortable because we've had that time for rest and reflection. Now, have you shifted the right leg? You're going to set that right foot on the mat. Roll a little bit to the right. Let the right forearm catch you. Assist that left leg out. As you roll back onto the bum, just hug it into the chest. Find a little movement there through the ankle and the toes. And then explore that half saddle on the other side. Left foot roots to the mat. And we roll over onto the left. Again, you can just scoot the foot away from the body, the right foot. Roll a little bit more and guide the top of the foot down. Let go of the idea of how it should look. And simply notice, do you feel that gentle pull along the thigh or the hip, the outer right bum, the outer right leg? Knowing that if it's ever too much, especially in the space of the knees, you come back into that constructive rest where the knees knot together and the feet are wide. Whatever position you choose, you just notice, you breathe, you wonder. And eventually that left foot finds the mat. We support the body with that foot. We roll over to the left, very mindfully releasing the knee. Hugging the right leg in toward the body. Inviting movement through the ankle, through the toes. And then release the foot to the floor. Take a pause there. You're welcome to stay in Shavasana with this heart opener, with that support behind the spine. If you'd rather roll to one side and slide the props out, you're welcome to. You might even let's take our props out. I'm going to provide a suggestion for our final resting pose. Stonehenge is what we call it. It's actually a restorative pose. We bring our blocks where our legs are going to be, second height or highest height, and a little bit close together. Got about a fist distance between. And then the bolster will rest on top. And this bolster will catch the legs. Some people like it behind the knees. Some people like it more on the muscles of the calf. And you just roll the body down. Shift and adjust until you find a just right space. Let the size come in. Just like with every position, with every shape, if this works and you want to settle in here, we're taking an extra long Shavasana. You can stay here for all of the time. You can stay for a little bit of time. Let the arms, the hands be comfortable. Notice. And then release that noticing. Become the rest. Become the stillness. Invite time to wash over you.